Hi guys, and welcome to my first proper series on the channel on FM19, of course, on the beta with Fulham. London's Originals is what I decided to call it just because I couldn't think of a better title. I hope all of you are as excited for FM19 as I am. I'm going to be running a little competition, so I'll show you guys in a sec how you can win a free copy of FM19. Don't worry, I have more than one copy to give away. I'll be giving another one away when the full game drops on November 2nd, I think it is, or 4th, one of those two. But for now, I'm going to be incredibly ambitious and see if we can get to 1,000 likes on this video. That would be ridiculous, but we'll give it a crack. So do hit that if you're excited about this series, and I really am. I've wanted to manage Fulham on a YouTube save for a long time. It's the first series I ever did on my channel, but it's been nice to revisit them now that I'm not completely awful at it. Now, the format of videos on the channel is going to change ever so slightly, as is the schedule. Some of you already know this, but I just want to reiterate for those of you that are probably new to the channel or just haven't watched in a little while, I will be moving over to 6 videos a week. So that'll be Monday through Friday and one on Sunday. You'll still get a Saturday video this week, of course, though, because the new release is out and everyone's damn excited, just like me. And I'm also trying out a slightly different style of editing with the Fulham series where you're basically going to see everything I do. I'm going to live record everything, so you'll see every single game live commed in some way. Still going to get quite a few done in an episode, but a lot of the stuff that I would have done off camera before is going to happen on camera for this one. I just want to see what it's going to be like, basically. Now, as for how you can win a copy of FM19 with beta access, do not worry about that. There is a tweet that I'm going to link in the description of this video. I might put a comment as well. Go there, and there's instructions on how you can win a copy of the game. And like I said, I'm going to give another one away in a couple of weeks, maybe even 2. I'm not entirely sure just yet. See how many I can rustle up. So yeah, go over there and get involved. Right, so Fulham, newly promoted to the Premier League. Now, one thing it's very important to note about this save is I've never done this before, but I've actually turned off the first transfer window, mainly because I wanted to play with the exact squad that Fulham have and against the squads that the other teams actually have, rather than letting the AI do all sorts of transfers for the first window. Make it a bit more realistic, and that way I didn't have to worry about other clubs trying to nick Ryan Sessegnon from us for the entire summer. A bit of both, basically, but it also means we can't buy anyone, and there's definitely some positions I feel like we probably could do with players, despite the amount of money that we've spent this summer. So that is the reason for that. Don't worry, January it'll all be turned back on again. It's just the opening window that will be disabled. And while we're on the topic of players, those of you over on the Patreon who do normally sponsor players in the series, feel free to get in touch over on there and let me know if you want to sponsor any players on this series, or if you just want to wait until Stockport starts when we really do get stuck into FM19 once the full game drops. Now, you might notice that some of these are a little bit out of date in the old face packs. I am downloading the new face pack, but as you can imagine, it's fairly bloody large. That's why Tom Cairney over here still is listed as a Blackburn shirt in the face pack. Definitely need to update that. Everything else has been updated. It's just the face packs that should be present in episode 2 and 3 and beyond. I hope. Unless something major goes wrong. I already messed it up a little bit this morning and accidentally downloaded malware to my computer, so... So the plan with this save, rather than it just being a straight-up Fulham save, which is of course what it's going to be, is I'm actually going to try and recreate the style of play that we've been using in real life in the Premier League and of course in the Championship last year. Which probably will come with the defensive frailties along with it, but that's part of the fun, isn't it? Now, how well that's going to work, me trying to translate those tactics over to FM19, is yet to be decided. I've had a little play around with the tactics in like a tester save, just to sort of see how things work, and I think I've got something that seems cohesive, but I'll show you guys that in a second. Also, since it is the first video in a series, and it's question of the day time, of course, I always like to ask where you guys are from. It's always interesting to see where the most obscure viewers are from, and if you're from somewhere boring like me in the south of England, let me know the most obscure place you've ever been to. Perhaps that could work. Yeah, drop that in the comments, and if you have any idea for a question of the day, something we do, drop those in the comments too with the hashtag QOTD. Now, there is, of course, a lot of new features to get your head around in FM19, and the training and the tactics are 2 of the main ones. Now, training for now, I'm going to leave to my assistant, but toggle with it from time to time as I slowly learn it over the next few weeks. I hope that by the time Stockport comes around, I'll have a better idea of what on earth I'm doing, and we'll be able to use that more effectively. But for now, just leaving it to your assistant and then changing things as and when you feel like you need to seems to be a safe bet. For tactics, however, you do not have that excuse. Now, obviously, with the change in the tactics system, you have these custom styles which you can make, which can permeate across more than one tactic, which means that if you put a formation in, it can automatically add all the instructions that you have for another tactic onto that same tactic, which is a nice idea. As you can see, I have a custom style called Custom Slav, of course, named after Slavisa Jokanovic, the current Fulham manager, and the man responsible for this monstrosity of a system, or more monstrosity if you think about this system, which is the alternative I've come up with. But for now, this is probably the one that we're going to go with at home against teams that I feel like we can beat and teams away from home that I feel like we can beat. This is the sort of the system that Fulham have been playing for most of the last year, generally speaking, or as best as I can get to it. Now, obviously, I haven't put the players in yet, which we will do just to sort of see who can play where. But generally, the idea is that you've got 2 very fast-paced wing-backs with 2 ball-playing defenders who can pick the ball up and spread it out of play, with a box-to-box midfielder and a ball-winning midfielder in the middle, occupied probably by Zambo Anguissa and obviously Jean-Michel Seri in those 2 roles, with Tom Cairney ahead in the advanced playmaker role. On the right-hand side, it's up for grabs, probably someone like Luciano Vieta Vieto or Andre Schürrle, although he's more of a left-sided player. But the left-sided role is pretty much reserved for Ryan Sessegnon at the moment because he does play that Raumdeuter role quite nicely and did very well for us in the Championship, just appearing at that far post and getting little tap-ins. He was brilliant at it. And up front, we've gone with a complete forward for now. That will only really apply when Mitrovic is fit, and he won't be fit for a little while because he's away on international duty and holidays and that, so he won't be back till late July. So in the friendlies, I might deploy it as an advanced forward, but the complete forward suits Mitrovic more because he can hold the ball up and just kind of do a bit of everything. So that's generally the plan with that. As for the actual tactics themselves, we're looking to overlap down both sides while playing out from the defense and working the ball into the box with a short passing style. We're more expressive to allow us to try some stuff when there's no good opportunity on rather than just shooting. I find that tends to help, with a slightly wider attacking width. In the transitions, we're doing the counter press and countering when we've got the ball back as a way of just getting the ball back a little bit quicker. And we've also got quite a high line of engagement for that too, distributing the ball to the centre-backs with some short kicks and out of possession. The high line of engagement is in there too, so we can actually start pressing a little bit sooner, basically, and with more urgency in the press. That's the main things we've done with a positive mentality, which is kind of like... It's hard to explain what it kind of is. It's just below attacking, really. It's a positivity idea, but without going too over the top. We might be able to switch up. We'll see how it works. I don't know. We'll have to try in the friendlies. As for the second tactic, I'm not entirely sure about this one yet because FM doesn't really let me do what I want it to do and what we kind of do in real life. So we played a back three against Arsenal in the league last week, and as much as it might not look like it worked, most of the goals we conceded in the bad play was after we switched away from this system. So I do believe this can work with two complete wing-backs. Maybe I'll just move them back to normal wing-backs with two ball-playing defenders and a guy to come out and press the back line, usually someone like Denis Odoi. I'm not entirely sure, with a ball in midfielder and box-to-box midfielder in the middle as well. And what I really wanted was to have inside forward types of players that would really, really tuck in and allow the overlaps. And they sort of do, but they still occupy too much wing space. So what we're probably going to do instead is move both of these two inside into a sort of number 10 roles. And then we'll have someone like Schürrle or Vieto in there. It's just annoying because neither of them are really that accomplished in those positions, even though that's where they've actually been playing for Fulham in real life. So that one might be a bit of a Frankenstein type of system, and we might have to work on that one a little bit more in pre-season. But the other one I'm very, very happy with. It's also nice that you can actually see all the instructions down the side, so I don't have to keep going into the menus to show you, so you can just copy the tactics if they work. I'd advise you don't do that just yet, though. As for the aims for this save, I'm not really sure. First season, try to keep Fulham up. Second season with some signings, see how we can go, because I want to keep to our... I want to be quite dogmatic and stick to the style that we want to play with some lovely, lovely football and see if we can't win some friends by playing some nice football and hopefully not get relegated. That would be the plan. If we get relegated, then this is all over. Now, annoyingly, we don't have the real fixtures, which is a bit of a shame because it would have been nice to start off at home to Crystal Palace rather than away at Watford, who I'm guessing are probably quite good because, well, look at the way they started the season. They might have dropped off a bit now, but there you go. It's still not a bad start, though, with Watford, Southampton, Newcastle and Bournemouth in there. There's definitely some winnable games before we start the run of games against Tottenham, Man City and Everton and Arsenal. We need to have points on the board after these matches. I love the way this is separated. It just looks so nice. But we've got lots of friendlies to work on stuff before then. Hopefully we can come up with something by the time the season starts for that away game at Watford. Because I feel like the system we're currently using with the one I showed you first is definitely good enough to take into those games. We've got players in the right positions for it. Key. Hopefully no one's injured. And hopefully we'll get a few players back from injury too, like Alfie Mawson, that could slot right in. But frankly, we've actually got quite decent cover in the defensive zones, which I'll show you in a sec. So here's how the squad is looking. I'm just going to turn the filters so that we're actually already on it for the senior squad. This is a squad view that I built. And weirdly, when you put it into a different version of the game like this, when you go to a different one, because I built this on my laptop, it removes the separators, which is a bit annoying. But it should give us all we need to know to be able to analyze things at a very, very quick glance. I've built some other ones, and you know I like to do analysis, which I will put up once we get to the point of actually using them. But I think this one is a good sort of starting point so we can see at a general glance the stats of players in good areas. That's the way I'm looking at it anyway. Now, for some reason, I can't seem to select the role selected for the tactic when we've got it on current ability. I can only do that on role suitability, which is a bit pointless. I want to actually see how good they are in stars based around... Yeah, look, it won't let me select. That's really weird. If anyone knows why that is, do let me know. Because obviously, Vieto's decent, but he's not good for the role that he's actually playing in this team. But you can still sort of see the depth that we've got in certain areas. So Kearney's good there, Cabano. Steph Joe can play there if he needs to. On the right-hand side, we've got Vieto, Cabano, Ayite, even Kamara if we get very, very desperate. He's a bit like a bull in a china shop most of the time when he plays. On the left, Schürrle and Sessegnon. Options with Cabano and Ayite can play on both sides. It's nice. Just looking a tad bit further back, Seri, Kearney, Zambo Anguissa. Johansson, McDonald, plenty of options in the midfield roles, and also McDonald and Anguissa can play a bit deeper as well, which is nice in case we need to drop someone back into a sort of defensive midfield role. But I'm mainly going to occupy them as a centre mid that can kind of do that. I did have them on defence when I was testing stuff, but they actually work better as a supporting role to get forward occasionally, particularly when you've got someone like Anguissa in there who can really get forward if he needs to. And at the back, it's the same kind of story with Joe Bryan. Le Marchand can fill in there if he needs to. Mawson, Chambers, Adoy, Max the Merchant, gotta love him. Tim Ream as well. Lots of options in this team. We're actually fairly solid. It's just in this attacking midfield role for perhaps number 10 type players is the one area where we're not particularly strong. So I might have to vie away from that other tactic I came up with just in case. We do have a few players out injured. Tim Ream is out for a long time with a back injury. He's now recovered from that in real life, which is nice. Mawson will be out, but I think he'll be fit for the start of the season. Floyd Ayite is a similar story. Hopefully, we don't get too many injuries in pre-season. Finances-wise, we're not in a great shape. We're at minus 100 million in the bank at the moment. Hopefully, we can sort that out because it's not looking too great. So staying up in the Premier League this year is going to be pretty damn important for us if our finances are to not go into the total toilet zone. Just looking overall at some of our best players, I don't know why I've accidentally sorted potential to the wrong side of ability. Let's just move that over so we can see a bit better. So best ability in the team, Schürrle and Rico as well. We've got some good keepers at the club too. Jean-Michel Seri's in there. In fact, 2 keepers right here. Mitrovic, Johansson, still actually rated quite highly by the game, despite not being that useful for Fulham in real life this season. Also has the perfectionist personality, which will be very, very nice for him to tutor some young players for us. We'll hopefully get some mentoring groups set up to make the most of that, I hope. But we do have to be careful because we do have quite a lot of players in and out, of course, on loan. Lots of quite important squad players are in on loan. So next season, that's something we're going to have to look at to fill some of those gaps. Hopefully, we've sorted out the budget and can get some money in. And just looking at the under-19s, some interesting players in there. Matt O'Reilly is one that's very, very important there. I don't think Harvey Elliott is actually in the game. He's the guy that made his debut for us at 15 against Millwall in the Cup, but I don't think he's actually old enough to even feature in the game, even though there is a 15-year-old in Riley Warland. Must have got special permission. But Matt O'Reilly is one to watch out for in the future. And apparently Cody Drammer. I've actually never heard of him. But yeah, hopefully he'll be good too. Right, so that's sort of going to wrap up this initial episode. In the next episode, we'll be doing the whole of the sort of pre-season, going through friendlies. You'll see everything with me tweaking tactics and sort of learning that kind of stuff and getting to grips with the game a little bit more in the context of Fulham. We'll obviously play our first game of the season properly as well in that episode. It might even be more. It depends on how much time I've got, basically. And then after that, it's just going to be ploughing into the season, getting through the games and trying to stay up, because that is really our main task this season. I think we can do it playing good football. I really, really hope that you think I can do it playing good football. It's throwing myself into the deep end like this and giving myself these constraints. It wasn't something I normally want to do, but with this, I felt like it was worth a try to actually try and play the style that we play in real life. And I think we'll be able to get away with it, I hope. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this episode and are looking forward to this series, do again smash the like on the video. That'll be awesome. And if you're new to the channel and you're looking forward to seeing more content like this, then hey, you want to hit that subscribe button to get new videos basically every day from now on, which is going to be awesome. And I'll see you guys in the next episode for all sorts of pre-season goodies and our first league game of the season, which I believe is away at Watford. That's going to be massive. Even if we just took a point there, I think I'd be quite pleased with that for now. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.